What is Sam Pittman going to do in year 2?
I got asked that last night over a few cold brews. And, RJ, when you look at this football schedule in 2021, it wasn't going to be easy in 2020. Some would say Hunter Yurchek and others described it as the toughest football schedule in college football history. And when you look at who they played, a 10-game SEC slate with the 2 Eastern opponents crossover that were added to their schedule being Georgia and Florida. I don't know how far off he and so many others were in actually saying that when you look at the ranked teams they had to play. LSU played in Alabama, I think, last year. Didn't they play 6 ranked teams each? And I think that's what Arkansas ended up with in the regular season. Am I right on that, RJ?
I have to go check, but I think you are because I counted up at the end because I was looking at LSU schedule going, y'all suck. And then I was also going, oh, yeah, the SEC is still very good. And remember last year we were talking about this and I was going, Arkansas wins a game, be happy. And they won 4?
3 and 7.
Like I said, 4. Auburn. I'm giving them the Auburn game.
Thank you.
So, no, but like you're onto it, right? Like the crossover matchup really sucked. So much so that little birdie told me there was an Arkansas coach that wasn't very happy about the new SEC schedule when it popped up.
Oh yeah. Pittman was pissed. He was valid in his anger. But, I mean, RJ, it doesn't get much easier this year. We mentioned the Texas game. They're coming week 2. I don't know how geared up Sark's going to be. I know we got to see it. You know the quarterback that we'll see in 2021 for the law. We watched a little bit.
Can I jump in there with some details to help you with that? Just real quick.
Go ahead.
His news of his contract just dropped this afternoon. $34.2 million Saturday afternoon when we're talking. Yeah. So 5.2 to start, 6.2 to end. But here's the real one is Pete Kwiatkowski as defensive coordinator is making 1.7 annual. Okay. I think that was a shot at your man Barry Odom. That's what I think. I also thought it was interesting that Jeff Banks, special teams coordinator, making $1 million. Steve Spurrier was the first millionaire head coach in '96. Okay? We got a special teams coordinator at Texas making $1 million in 21. And I think it's going to be Casey Thompson, but there are folks that still believe that Hudson Card could be the guy. All right. I just wanted they got to win. They can't lose to Arkansas, I guess is my point.
I hope they do. And, I don't anticipate it. By the way, since you're on the subject of guys getting paid, it's got some Arkansas ties. Can you tell me the first $1 million coordinator in college football? The answer might surprise you a little bit.
First $1 million coordinator in college football. $1 million coordinator. No, go ahead, tell me.
Mr. Chad Morris at Clemson.
That makes all the sense in the world though. That now that you said it, because I remember at the time they were doing something, and Dabo said, rather than give me a raise, defer my raise and pay my assistants, because that's how I'm going to keep them here.
Okay.
Like, I knew that half of it, but I didn't know that Chad Morris was the first millionaire coordinator. Like what? Yeah, you guys are so. You guys got the worst version of Chad Morris.
Yeah, and we had. No, it's funny. It's funny, and I will come back to the schedule real quick. But I remember having a conversation with Taj Boyd, got connected with him, and loved watching Taj in college. He was my favorite quarterback to play on NCAA football back in the day, and he was so bought in that Chad Morris was going to change this football program. Had me believe in, had our listeners believe in, and it just didn't happen. So that to me, I don't want to get too much on the rabbit trail, but I can harken back to that conversation, but. RJ, on the subject of this season, Texas week 2, you got to play Georgia again, and we'll see what happens with JT Daniels.
That one's in Athens. Yeah, that one's in Athens.
That's not, and Arkansas. They held their own for 38 minutes in this past season, but watch out for Kirby Smart's team. First weekend of October, that's going to be quite fun. George Pickens could be one of the best wide receivers. I say one of the best because he's not better than Traylon Burks, and I hope you think that too. But it's not like going to Ole Miss after what you did to him last year. Lane Kiffin's going to have his boys fired up. You go to LSU, you go to Alabama. I would think that LSU. I mean, they're not going to have the season they had 2 seasons ago, but they're definitely going to bounce back from last year. Plus, you can't ever find a way to beat that terrible school in College Station, Texas. No matter the talent differential and disparity, it always seems to be a close game, except this past season and the Trevor Knight game where he just went off in the fourth quarter. So it's not going to be easy for Arkansas. And to be honest, this is a statement that I hate saying. They're going to be lucky to make a bowl game. They are going to be lucky to, I think they win those 3 non-conference games relatively easily. I think they're going to lose a close game to Texas. But, RJ, when you look at that football schedule, it's not easy to find 3 SEC wins. It's going to be a tough road for Sam Pittman in year 2. I think there's a lot. The ceiling for this team is higher than a lot of people think based on the talent they have coming back and the experience. But just the schedule, I mean, it's the SEC, man, plus Texas. That ain't easy for anybody.
Well, I'm looking at the schedule, right? And that Georgia Southern game, I think, is going to be way tougher than Arkansas fans even realize. And that's because I think that Georgia Southern is one of the 4 best teams in that conference, the Sun Belt, right? And Arkansas State's going to be a little bit down, but not a whole lot down. I think losing Jonathan Adams is really big there, but that's Arkansas State. All right, so I'm looking at the schedule. You're at Georgia. You're at Ole Miss. They're going to be decent to good. Auburn is a win. Year 1, they'll be talented, but year 2, especially after what Barry Odom proved you could do, was putting Dwan Mathis on the bench, right, in that first game. Mississippi State is a game you can win. UAB is a game, UAPB is a game you can win. I mean, LSU, yeah, okay, they may have more talent than you, but they're also going to be they're going to have 2 first-year coordinators. Alabama, sorry about that, that's a loss. Missouri, you ought to be able to win that game. That's a game you're in. They lost their defense coordinator. They're adding Ryan Walters, who I really enjoy. I think it's going to be good. Ryan Walters went to Illinois. Steve Wilkes is at Missouri now. Another man I think is good. Probably never coaches the NFL ever again. So I could see 5 wins in there. Yeah, getting the bowl eligibility, you're going to have to get lucky. But as you pointed out,
those academics up, buddy. That's what they needed.
Man, look, like as you pointed, A&M could win 10 games. Georgia, I have in the national championship against Oklahoma.
Wow.
Oh yeah, no, the running joke in our circles of college football is, of course, you pick Georgia every year, and of course they let you down every year because they lose to South Carolina or whomever, right, to put themselves out of the SEC championship game, or they're just not as good as an LSU or an Alabama in a year where they're fully loaded for bear. This is the window for Georgia for me. Just this is the window for Oklahoma for me. But Ole Miss they're gonna move the football. Like the part about that sucks is if Jeff Lebby got that job and not Gus Malzahn, I would feel way better about Arkansas in that game against Ole Miss. But because that offense is so good at moving the football, I mean, you put up 647 yards and 47 points on Alabama in a year where they go 13-0. Yeah, you're going to be pretty good. So I hear you, but I also think this is food for thought down the line. Arkansas could do with the addition of 2 more teams or the reduction of 2 more teams from that conference. I don't think that Arkansas wants to go anywhere. I don't want to say that because I don't think that's true. And I don't think that anybody wants to kick Arkansas out. I don't think that's true. I do think that West is loaded and the East is too loaded, right? It's loaded enough where Georgia, Florida, Missouri in some years, right, South Carolina in some years are going to give you a headache. But, find me another conference where you can bet on 10 of the 14 teams being a bowl eligible, right? It's hard. And one of those isn't Arkansas? Wait a second. All right. So that's why I asked what's Sam Pittman going to do in year 2, but also who's the quarterback, man? Is it Malik? Is it KJ? Because, if the offense clicks and Burks proves to be that dude that you think he is, I mean, we know that Odom's got the defense to do it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a question that we've already had discussions about, and how far are we out until the first week in September? I can't tell you the days off the top of my head, but Malik Hornsby was flying up the 247 recruiting rankings, and we've talked to Steve Wiltfong, and we talked to the guy that's now at Vanderbilt, whose name is
Barton Simmons.
Barton Simmons.
Yeah.
We talked to both those guys, and they love him. They love him. Malik Hornsby. Malik, you talk to players in practice, and he can just scoot, man. He's got the wheels. Now, Bryles said his head was spinning a little bit with all they were adding to his brain, just getting him ready. You look at what KJ did against Missouri. Missouri had a pretty good defense this past year, right? And KJ put up 48, if I remember that right. And I know they were preparing for Felipe up to game time, and then all of a sudden we get the announcement, Felipe was going through warm-ups as gamemanship because he can't throw the football. So you're going to be playing KJ Jefferson. And to his credit, KJ was really, really good in this game. It's the best the offense looked. But I think this competition, RJ, is going to be more unpredictable than people think. I think the majority of fans, if you ask an Arkansas fan right now, they would tell you KJ Jefferson is going to be our starting quarterback. You got to remember, Ken O'Briles has been recruiting Malik Hornsby since he was a freshman in high school. He has known about this kid for quite some time. And Mike, and think about this. This is just so refreshing to me. Arkansas hasn't had a dual-threat quarterback, like a true dual-threat guy, since Matt Jones. Now, one of their starters, whoever it is, and it's Malik and KJ. Unless there's an injury, it's Malik and KJ. They're both dual-threat guys. And that is just so – and I don't – like Felipe could run last year, but he wasn't a wheels dude, and he made some really good read option plays and tucked it and made some right reads there. But I'm just excited for the explosion I think we're going to see from this Arkansas offense in year two with the full spring practice, with these drills that they're getting to actually work with the quarterbacks on the field. This is going to be a fun football team offensively to watch in 2021. And I can't give you a solid answer on who's the quarterback going to be. If I had to lean one way, I'd probably say KJ, but I'm not one of those guys that assume KJ is going to be the starter since day one. It's just kind of a wait and see for me, RJ.
That is Ty Richardson, program director at ESPN Arkansas, host of the Morning Rust and Trust the Process podcast. Give him a follow on the Twitters. I'm going to link him in the description below. I'm also going to link to ESPN Arkansas in the description below where you can find this man, because if you need to know about Arkansas at any point in time, football, basketball, baseball, Ty is the man. I'm just the dude that consumes Arkansas football, and I got, a real soft spot for Sam Pittman. One day I'm going to get out to that lakefront property. I'm going to see what's really good. But, hey, Ty, I asked you for 15 minutes. You gave me like 34. You're awesome, man. I love you.
And that's probably just a byproduct of me talking too much. And I appreciate the kind words, buddy. It's funny to me how whenever I'm going through message boards, Arkansas, with its Hogville, Hog Beat, Hog Sports, Whole Hog Sports, the different Arkansas conversation pools we have, anytime my boy RJ makes a video about Arkansas, you just have all these people come in. Look at our boy RJ. Look how much he loves it, like all this stuff. Because there's not a lot of national people, and you're very much so a national commentator for Fox Sports now, which is, again, freaking awesome, man, that give Arkansas love. Now they do it in baseball. They've been doing it in basketball because of us and the 7-game SEC winning streak. Football team hasn't really gotten any. And so for you to be able to do that and being so close in Tulsa where you are, a lot of Arkansas fans are really appreciative of you, man. And the videos, guys, I know all you watching, some of you are just watching because I'm on it now. The majority of you are watching RJ's videos. If you like college football, this is the place to be. Plus, he's funny, too. So I'd encourage all of you that aren't subscribed, you got to subscribe to this dude.
Thanks, buddy. I appreciate you.